Hell yes, baby. You already know. This is the exact kind of topic that I love from the bottom of my heart. I want to marry this topic because when it comes to the latest in regards to former Montreal Canadien, former Vancouver Canuck, former LA King, former Calgary Flame, former New Jersey Devil, and now former Winnipeg Jet Tyler Toffoli, baby. We have ourselves a really big update as to what his future has in store. And yeah, that's right, I said former Winnipeg Jet Tyler Toffoli. Before we dive into that, let's go over the update here. Toffoli is now 32 years old, still 6 feet, still 196, still a right-handed guy who is now an expired free agent. He had 11 points in 18 games with the Winnipeg Jets after having 44 points in 61 games played with the Devils. Last year, he had 73 points in 82 games for the Calgary Flames, cementing himself still as one of the league's better sniper forwards, despite not having the best foot speed. Tyler Toffoli is a good player who plays well along the boards, who is a distinct finisher, and who can just do really good things with the puck. He doesn't have it on his stick quickly, but when he does, he usually makes something nice happen. Either he makes a nice pass or he puts the puck in the back of the net. This is a guy whom Canadiens fans and Vancouver Canucks fans each have had their own separate affinities towards, especially during the time after 2019-20 when he got sent over to Vancouver from the LA Kings. Toffoli has been a seasoned vet, and now at 32 years old, there's a reason to believe that his next contract could very well be his last one. Who really knows? Either way, this article from thefourthperiod.com and David Pagnotta goes out there and talks about Toffoli in a very interesting way. Take a look at this. Tyler Toffoli is preparing to hit the free agent market. Now, I apologize, this video is being recorded a few days beforehand, and I had to pre-schedule upload this because I'm going on a trip for the weekend, but I wanted to get this out there on a bright and early Monday morning because when it comes to two of my favorite teams, the Montreal Canadiens and the Vancouver Canucks, Tyler Toffoli could very well have himself a role in these conversations. Take a look at what the article says. Scoring winger Tyler Toffoli is planning to hit the market as a UFA on July 1st, according to the Fourth Period's David Pagnotta. On Thursday, Pagnotta reported that Toffoli will be moving on from the Winnipeg Jets after joining the club prior to the trade deadline from the New Jersey Devils. Toffoli, 32, is coming off of a 4-year, $17 million contract, tallying 33 goals and 22 assists for 55 points in the 79 games he had played with the Devils and Jets this season. It is unclear what type of contract he is looking for, but another 4-year agreement could be in the cards with a club in need of more scoring punch in their lineup. This is the kicker. The LA Kings and Vancouver Canucks, two of Tyler Toffoli's former teams, expressed interest in him during the season and could be among the clubs that pursue him this July. Now, I will say, the one big contradiction in this is that, hey, Lego, didn't Patrick Allvin say that he wants speed up front? That they need top 6 scoring, speedy wingers to play with Elias Pettersson? And yeah, that's a thing that he did say. I don't disagree with it either, but Tyler Toffoli, man, I get it, he's not the fastest guy, but he makes it work. And there was a reason why Allvin and Rutherford were still interested in getting this dude in the 2024 trade deadline. There was still a conversation floating around there. Hey, the Canucks are in on Gensel, the Canucks are in on Toffoli, the Canucks are in on this guy, that guy. Eventually, Toffoli went over to Winnipeg for cheap, and a lot of Canucks fans freaked out. Wait a minute, that's all it took? How could they not have done that? But still, if this guy does hit the free agent market and the Canucks, well, he will hit the free agent market according to Pagnotta, and the Canucks are interested in his services, if Tyler Toffoli decides to come back to Vancouver, fill out that top 6 with Pettersson, Suter, Besser, Miller, and then whomever else on the wing for Petey, sign me up for that, baby. I would love, absolutely love to see that. Now, where the Montreal Canadiens fit into this conversation, you had yourselves an article published on HabsFanatics.com talking about that very same Tyler Toffoli, and this article goes out there and proposes the idea of a Montreal reunion. This is a lot more of a different flavor, but I will go out there and read what this article says As you already know, Tyler Toffoli and his wonderful wife love Montreal. It's extremely rare to see this from former Canadiens players, but the Toffoli family has returned to Montreal and Quebec several times in recent months simply because they love our part of the country. That says a lot. We also remind you that they recently spent time with current Montreal Canadiens players, including Jake Evans, who was hanging out with Toffoli a few weeks ago. And with this all in mind, the article insinuates the idea that, hey, Tyler Toffoli signed with the Montreal Canadiens in free agency last time. He loves the city. He loves the players. He's a big part of this community. So would there be a possibility for him to return too? Maybe take up the winger spot of Tanner Pearson, because that guy's not going to get re-signed for sure. Would that not be great? You know what? I'm thinking about it now. Kent Hughes is cooking. And that's one of the big things that I think you have to acknowledge when thinking about a Toffoli reunion with the Habs. That, yeah, no, Kent Hughes is probably going to trade away something, a young asset, a defenseman, whatever, for a good young top 6 caliber forward, or even a middle 6 caliber forward, somebody in that age range, a Kent Johnson, a Cole Perfetti, or a Martin Necas, something like that. There's probably going to be a big addition to the Canadiens up front. So if you're getting Tyler Toffoli, you're not necessarily getting him because you want him to be a 70-point top 6 caliber guy. You're just not going to have the space. Between Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, Juraj Slafkovsky, whomever the Canadiens trade for, plus Kirby Dach and Alex Newhook, that's already 6 guys. So best case scenario, Toffoli's being played on a sheltered third-line scoring line, and he's getting power play time. Which admittedly is not the worst thing in the world, because I feel like Toffoli is good enough where it's like, yeah, if you give him power play time, he'll make some damage happen, but he is also capable enough defensively to be in a checking line in a third line role. It's not the worst fit in the world, but of course, you would want to maximize whatever it is Tyler Toffoli has to offer offensively by playing him with some of your better players. He played so well with Elias Pettersson, he played very well with some of the other top scorers of the Canadiens when he was here, what am I saying here? I'm in Vancouver, I'm not in Montreal, but either way, the idea of him absolutely loving the Habs and their city and their fans and their environment speaks volumes as to whether or not he could be in the market to go back to Montreal once again. It's just whether or not Kent Hughes would want to do that. That's really the question here. You gotta remember, Kent Hughes traded Tyler Toffoli away in the first place, so who knows? I mean, it was for a good reason. They traded him over to Calgary, he was super good, and the Canadiens got Emil Heineman and whatever. It was a while ago, but still, if you're a Montreal Canadiens fan, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. If it's a, let's say, $5 million 4-year deal for Tyler Toffoli, do you want Kent Hughes to pull the trigger? If you're a Vancouver Canucks fan, same thing. Do you want Patrick Allvin to pull the trigger? If you're an LA Kings fan, we haven't talked about the Kings at all in this video, but do you want to see your team go out there and acquire Tyler Toffoli once again? I feel like Toffoli is one of these weird dudes that has been a part of like some of the biggest and most loud fan bases on social media, and they all seem to love him. So there seems to be this like overwhelming joy that engulfs Tyler Toffoli every time his name is brought up in conversation on social media. Canucks fans loved him, Canadiens fans loved him. I know he was only a Canuck for 10 games, but you gotta think about it like this. Tyler Toffoli was acquired to be the replacement for Brock Boeser in the 2019-20 season when Boeser was injured. He was really good during his short acquisition stint, but then the world shut down and everything stopped, and Tyler Toffoli was just seen as this guy who was acquired, but he was on the team for months because the teams didn't get playing again until August. So by the time the Canucks got him back, he did get hurt, so he didn't play all the games, but when he was in the lineup and Boeser was in the lineup and it was all in one together, it was a great experience. And then the Canucks lost to Vegas, so we're not going to talk about anything further than that, but still, the fact is, even though Toffoli was like a 10-game sampled regular season player for Vancouver, he was literally a part of the team's roster for almost an entire year. So, like, you could definitely see why Canucks fans were upset when he, Tanev, and Markstrom all ended up leaving because Jim Benning didn't know how to manage his salary cap and his time properly. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Either way, if you're a Canucks fan, Canadiens fan, what are your opinions about Tyler Toffoli and him potentially returning to your teams? I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.